I'm David Tohn. I'm the CEO of Verb8tim, a company that does advanced speech-to-text for complex audio. Verb8tim is the product of 4 years of research and development and about $1.75 million of R&D, mostly funded through grants or services in kind. It started in 2009 as an initiative between National Public Radio Labs and Tohn University's research psychology lab in the College of Liberal Arts. Dr. Ellen Sheffield was the lead researcher there, working with Mike Starling, the CTO of NPR Labs. And they started to solve a very specific problem. How do you make talk radio accessible to the 23 million deaf and hard of hearing Americans in the US? For two purposes. One, so they maintain access to information, and talk radio is a significant source of information. But also from a public safety perspective, radio is the medium of last resort in an emergency. And so if emergency information is being broadcast, think Sandy, Hurricane Sandy, where the telephone networks were collapsed and information went out through radio. So by providing live captions to talk radio, you'll be able to provide that public service to deaf and hard of hearing. That was the original mission. By working with National Public Radio, the solution had to do a couple things. One, it had to be highly accurate, be very timely because of the emergency component to it, and frankly had to be inexpensive because NPR does not have a lot of resources to develop and then provide these services. What came out of that joint project was a technology originally called Tohn University Captioning Solution, which started doing the live transcripts for NPR's talk radio. And if you went on their website today, every transcript you see on NPR's website is us. One of our divisions, our commercial solutions division in BTS Software Solutions, was doing the software development in support of the speech-to-text capability. And we looked at that, and we looked at the technology, and we looked at the market. And at that point, Tohn University was doing about $250,000 worth of work commercially out of the lab in the College of Liberal Arts, and started to bump up pretty hard against the ability to run a commercial service inside a state university. So we had great conversations with Dr. Sheffield, Dean Terry Cooney of the College of Liberal Arts, and Tim Chandler, then acting president of Tohn University. And we realized it was best for everybody if we could pull it out, put it into a commercial space where we can continue to serve our mission of deaf and hard of hearing, but really start to grow the company into what its potential was. We started that conversation in January of 2014, and then we completed the transfer in December of 2014, and it became a separate business unit within its parent company, BTS Software Solutions. So the speech-to-text industry writ large is $16 billion or more. Frankly, you can't scope it because there's so many use cases that are not using it right now. And what Verb8tim offers is a faster, better, less expensive, more scalable solution for multiple speaker audio. And we wanted to zero in on the sectors that we really understand and frankly already have deep hooks in, and that's the education market and the broadcast media market, specifically radio, but also some post-production video and audio content. So in the education market, both academic, professional, and then in conferences, we are targeting providing live captioning in the classroom for deaf and hard of hearing students. It just shows up on their mobile device within 3 seconds at 95% accurate or better. And we do that right now at Tohn University for students there, as well as providing captioning and transcripts for online and distance learning. And then after a live classroom, so wouldn't it be great when you finish a class that here's a transcript of everything the professor said, so you could train and, or not train, you could study for finals and have that data available forward. And so we saw a huge market in that. As an example, it cost Tohn University $40,000 a year to provide accessibility services to a single deaf or hard of hearing student, 15 credit hours per semester. And that's in the form of either a stenographer who's in class or a sign language interpreter. And we're able to provide the same service at about $22,000 a year and are scalable. And then in the professional market, we're working with the legal community and continuing education. We work with 2 states right now, Massachusetts and Illinois, and we're targeting additional ones in our market growth. We work with the University of Maryland Dentistry Lab, also doing continuing education support for transcripts and captions there. And we see growing in that space. Both the academic and professional training markets are huge. 56 billion professional. We see the market for accessibility alone somewhere around 2 billion if you look nationally at the higher ed space. On the media side, again, we have deep hooks in there. We're doing all of National Public Radio. We do Latino USA. We have one of our channels is Sunday Streams, which has 250 churches and synagogues that we provide support to their streaming of their services. We've already done the Jewish High Holy Days here in Baltimore for one of the temples, providing captioning and transcripts for that. And we see plugging into that space. While there's a broad media market for it, we really want to target the talk radio space, which is really underserved right now. 10,000 hours of original talk content a quarter, so 3,000 a month. That once it's broadcast disappears. No one ever goes back and listens to an hour of a radio show, no matter how much they love it, nor can they find it because it's not searchable for Google or Yahoo or such. But if you do a high quality transcript of it, it becomes searchable, becomes discoverable. We found in controlled studies that you'll see a 13.5% increase in web traffic just by putting a captioning and transcript associated with a video. For search ranking, Discovery Digital and This American Life are two study groups or studies where they went from not ranked to number 9 and number 11 in Yahoo and Bing in 2 weeks. So you see a high ROI on the e-commerce associated with just making the audio and video content searchable and discoverable. And so that's our interest there. More importantly, by driving the costs and the ability to scale to the volume of how many conferences have you been to in the last year, multiply that, there's 500,000 conferences nationally, annually, as an average. By lowering our costs and making it so accessible and scalable, we're unlocking new markets that open up revenue streams for every conference provider. Would you upcharge your attendees to have a transcript after each session that's tied back to the video? I click on a word, I see the slides and see the video associated with it. I get transcripts from every seminar I didn't make because of scheduling issues. I can have transcripts tied to video for my people who couldn't make the conference, but I can still have access to that. So these are all areas where by driving the costs down and being able to scale, we're unlocking markets and generating new revenue opportunities for the content owners.